say naughty word?
Oh.
What naughty word did I say?
Nothing.
You said SHIT.
Yeah, you said that's a cold mother day.
I remember.
What were you?
I remember.
No, I didn't.
I remember that.
I can believe myself saying SHIT
I'm not
to
saying it
him.
was my fault.
To him?
Yeah.
Nobody else, but I'd say it to Colton. He probably called it
You
out and
dogs
said
like
it was
that,
BS.
We dogs like that.
I'm just swearing anyway.
Yup.
Anyway, I don't care.
You get a snap on
Yup.
All right. Standard normal distribution. Does everybody have a packet?
No.
Ethan, did you grab one?
Yeah.
Elsie? Elsie. I said it wrong the first time. Sorry. I corrected myself. All right. Normal curve. I can't put him here next time. He's got to be like
Yeah,
further
that was
away.
like-
That was my bad. All right. So the standard
did
normal
do it.
distribution.
Oh, yeah, wait, that proves that you mix this up on purpose.
Wow. You said
I
you did it. You said you
did
randomized.
spread. No.
You
I
said
put-
you randomized, so you
I
got it.
put the four of you as far apart as possible.
Actually, could have.
And then I put Maggie and Brooke pretty far apart.
Yeah, that was fake.
You put us all at different tables. Like, we don't.
Duh.
sit at the
Did you
one-
do
So
that
now
on
it's like
purpose?
That's
Yeah.
Where's
That was not a
Trey at?
comfortable learning.
Florida.
A comfortable learning.
All right.
Why
No,
is
he
yellow?
just left.
Didn't he just go to
He went to Arizona, came back.
Oh, wait,
Now
is he?
he's in
Oh
Florida.
yeah, for like 4 days.
I don't know
For
how
like
long.
6 days. He talked to you. I was there.
I didn't actually. I just know he went to Florida. Standard normal distribution. So that's a normal distribution. We looked at normal curves yesterday. It has a mean of 0, standard deviation of 1. So when we draw our normal curve, we put the capital N. The mean is 0, standard deviation is 1. 0 goes at the center. Then we can add and subtract standard deviation. So if we go up 1 standard deviation, that's 1. Up 2, up 3, or down 1, down 2, down 3.
What's this top one?
The top one was a warm-up that never came. So, the standard normal distribution follows the same rule that I taught you guys yesterday. Between 1 standard deviation below and 1 standard deviation above, we have 68% of our data. Between 2 above and 2 below, we still have 95% of the data. And then between 3 above and 3 below, we have our 99.7, which I can't make fit in the curve, so I'm going to draw it below. Oh, I forgot my percent. Now, the cool thing about the standard normal distribution is it takes any distribution and it turns all the data into z-scores so that we can compare distributions that may not have the same mean and standard deviation. So, Aaron Judge just broke the
What?
You got this.
Thanks, I do have this. The American League record for home runs. He hit 62 last night. He just broke Roger Maris's record is 61 from 1961. But at the end of this season, if we compared the two using their z-scores, I don't know that Aaron Judge will actually be the better home run hitter comparatively to who he played with. So z-scores allow us to compare different distributions, like Aaron Judge and Roger Maris. They played in different times, different bats, other things are different. But by turning everything into a standard normal distribution, you can compare them. So, can I flip to our next page? The other thing about standard normal distributions is that with a normal curve, we could really only work within the 68, 95, 99.7 in the symmetry. But now we can look at values outside of 1 standard deviation above or below, or 2 or 3. We can look at something that's 1 1/4 standard deviations below, or 1 1/4 standard deviations above. With the 68, 95, 99.7 rule, we couldn't do that. So we're going to use our standard normal distribution to find the proportion of observations that are less than 0.81. Standard normal distribution. Anytime you see those 3 words, that tells you can draw a bell curve that's normal. The mean is 0. The standard deviation is 1. So we're going to draw our bell curve. And notice I'm starting to take the template away. You have to get somewhat good at them. They don't have to be perfect. I will say, please don't do this. This one drives me insane.
Why?
That's not a bell curve. It's not even close to a bell curve. It's like a hill. So, normal, mean of 0, standard deviation of 1. When I draw it by hand, I make my hashes go all the way up. You don't have to, but I don't know why. It's just the way I do it when I draw it. I just said I don't know why. Okay? Yesterday I told you that the area under the curve between a certain interval gave you the proportion of observations. So really what this question is asking us to find is the area under the curve. And we want to find all the observations that are less than 0.81. So 0.81 I know is between 0 and 1. I'm going to just estimate. It's got to be closer to 1 than 0, so we'll go with there-ish. I'm going to put 0.81. Stop dropping the markers, Molly. And then we want to find the area that's less than, so we're going to shade the side that is to the left of 0.81. And that is what we're going to find. Everybody have a calculator today?
Do I need a graphing calculator?
Yes. Yes. Anybody else need to borrow one?
Does it have to be a calculator?
It has to be a graphing calculator. It's kind of
You got this.
I do not got this.
No, wait, doesn't she go south?
Yes.
She's
She's in fake, bro.
I
Dude,
need
I actually
those
have to
too.
touch my-
Say that again.
Cause you're gonna
Anybody else?
What is that?
That's the reader.
Oh,
SOU
I didn't see
reader.
it. It just looked like it's like a hedge chicken.
It's they're some sort of bird. I don't know. I don't know. It's College Wear Wednesday, so I wore my college
Is
sweatshirt.
that a thing?
No, she made that up.
Are you really gonna make me do this, Ty?
Ty goes to Clarity. Yeah, I go to Clarity University.
College Wear Wednesday. College Wear Wednesday.
Is that like a
College
teacher
Wear
thing?
I
Wednesday.
think that's your own calendar that you put down.
You just made that up.
Because
Look, organizer Jen Mason.
who's that?
Why is that thing?
Organizer
No one
Jen
cares.
Mason.
No.
Because
So
they
it's,
want.
It's a staff thing.
Yeah,
Wait, no, because I think my teachers have worn their color stuff.
yeah. Every Wednesday we're supposed to
Maggie.
wear college stuff.
Why? Now that I
Or
think about it.
trade school or
Because Mrs. Cox wore the Oregon State shirt today.
military service.
Oh,
To,
this shade did
and
wear
fourth-
a.
to encourage you guys to go to college or a trade school or
a Boston
enlist
I
in
was
the
in
military.
Oh my god, it's all clicking. Everything's clicking.
Wait, is this what that this is?
I gotta teach. For River. Okay. Alright. Now, the calculator is going to find the area for us. I'm gonna write down the buttons we press first, then I'll walk you through it. So you're going to hit, I want black. You're gonna hit second, then vars,
What?
vars, and then you're gonna choose number 2, normal CDF. I'll show you, don't worry. I'm just writing the steps right now.
What does that say?
I thought,
Yeah, what does
I
that
thought
say?
the N was always supposed to be
Second,
capital.
vars, normal CDF. The calculator doesn't capitalize it. Alright. You have to be in your home screen. If you're in something else and you choose normal CDF, the calculator gets mad. Well, not mad. It just won't do the math for you.
Okay, I was really weird.
So make sure you're in the home screen. Second, vars is right next to clear. And you should get to this menu. Are we all good? We want number 2, normal CDF. We don't use the PDF for normal curves. We'll use them later with binomial and geometric and T, but not for normal. If you have a newer calculator, it prompts you. With older calculators, if I hit second vars and choose normal CDF, it just opens parentheses for me. Here, you have to remember the order of things and put commas in between them. If you have a newer one that prompts you, notice it also puts a few default values in there. So we do want to use the -1 E99. Say that again? As an upper. It should be a positive one, E99, if it's defaulting in the upper. So lower bound, upper bound, then we have mu for the mean and sigma for standard deviation. If we look at our picture, the lower and upper bound refer to the shaded area. So our lower bound, this curve technically continues on forever, because remember I only have 99.7% between -3 and 3. So it does continue. I don't know where it stops. So we use a big, I said the wrong one, a little number, a big little number for our lower bound. So we're going to use -1 e to the 99. What does that e tell us?
Crap.
Not crap. It does not tell us crap. Anybody besides Colton want to venture? Megan? Tells us the exponent for scientific notation. So it's really telling us we're taking -1 and multiplying by 10 to the 99th power. So we're putting 99 zeros behind that -1. So it's a really small number, which works because we don't know where this actually is.
How do I do E?
That is a good question. I'm going to do it on that one, maybe if the light readjusts. No? Okay. So on the older ones, you have to type it in. Hopefully you've figured out by now the negative is down here by enter. If you use the minus and not the negative, the calculator gets angry. So we're going to hit -1. And then to get the E for scientific notation, you need to hit second, comma. So the thing right above 7 where it's got 2 capital E's next to each other, that gives me the correct E. And then I'm going to put 99 behind it. On the older calculators, once you put your lower bound, you put a comma. So that above 7. And then the next thing in the newer ones that it prompts you for is your upper bound. So where did we finish our shading? 0.81. So, oops, I put it in the wrong spot. .81 for the upper bound. The newer ones should default to have a mean of 0, standard deviation of 1, which is what we want. For the older ones, you need to put 0.81, comma 0, comma 1, and close your parentheses. Put 0.81 in for your upper. Everybody good? So older ones, once you close the parentheses, just hit enter. Newer ones, we have to go down to paste, hit enter, it puts it in the home screen, and then when you hit enter again, notice we got the same answer. So we get 0.7910. Now, you need to write what you put in the calculator. So we used normal CDF. My lower bound was -1 e to the 99. Upper bound, hold on, 0.81, mean 0, standard deviation of 1. And that gave us 0.7910. What's up, Mason?
Comma in this calculator.
It's above 7.
Oh, that's a comma.
Whoa, whoa,
Good vibe.
Don't,
I don't know, it just went.
don't give me
So
sick.
what we
Don't get you sick. You're sick.
Wait.
What?
What do we put on you and sigma?
0 and 1. Because your mean is 0, your standard
Wait,
deviation
we have
is
to
1.
write the normal CDF and then all of that?
Yeah.
Yes. So I just teach you guys with these questions, you must have a picture. You must write what you put in the calculator, because for any of you who choose to take the AP exam, you must have all those parts to get full credit. So I just try to teach it to you to make it a habit, so that if you take the AP exam, you don't have to reteach yourself extra steps. Colton.
How did you get 0.791? How do I do to say that?
Press enter. So once you're here,
I got
does you, okay. I was like, you should just have to. Okay, good. No, that's okay.
It happens.
Any other questions? All right, so one thing that you might notice in your homework, sometimes they change the way they say less than 0.81. I talked about how the standard normal distribution is changing everything into z-scores. So sometimes they may say find the proportion of observations from the standard normal distribution. It would say such that z is less than 0.81. It's the exact same question we just did. They just changed the way they write it.
Why?
Because standard normal distributions are just a bunch of z-scores. So they could ask you to find the proportion less than that z-score.
But you're still using like the normal CDF.
It's the exact same process. We get the same answer. It's just a different way to word it. So I want you guys to know that you might see it that way, because if I don't tell you and then it is that way, kids get mad and they're like, I don't know how to do it. All right. Any other questions? You guys are gonna try this one. I want you to find the percent, not proportion, percent of observations from the standard normal distribution that are less than 1.21. How do you change proportion to a percent? And go to 4 decimal places for me. Excuse me, Mason? If only I could pick kids. Oh, you're nicer. Just pour it on him. I was hoping I could whack his head.
You pour it on me, like, I
I mean, you could like
It fell from the
Yeah,
ceiling.
you
I
trip-
could put
trip-
a hole in the ceiling
trip
too,
and
right?
fall. You could like, whoa!
don't know. Wow.
I think it would work.
I think we should try this, Mason.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ready?
See if the administration doesn't notice.
Mom, what are you doing?
She's gonna hit me with the water bottle.
I'm checking their work, making sure they try this one, Molly. Where's your picture?
Gosh.
Are you just asking how I got results? Well, wait, you have all the information. Go to page, hit enter. You just have to hit enter. Where's your picture, man? You have to draw a picture. Yes. And you have to write what you put in the calculator. Otherwise, you don't write that in the back is what? To normal, yeah. Thank you. That's beautiful. The rest of these are good. You're gonna do it on the board. No, you're shading. There's no shading. They're 4 decimal places. Ashley's gonna put this on the board for us. Say that again.
I need to shake.
You need to shade. Otherwise, you won't get full credit. Say that again, I'm sorry. It's the same thing, but instead of 0.81, it's 1.21.
I feel like you have to like, there's like culture and respect. You know, I feel like he can't decide which is more important. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, winning is more important. Let us deal with the culture, right? It's our team. As much as he tries, he can't control the culture. It's the coach. You know, it's like up to the coach.
She may not look like me, but she acts like me.
I think she looks like
I really don't.
okay.
Actually, maybe we will.
Maybe you're
Looks more
will.
like Bells though.
No.
Henry looks like Bells.
I think Henry looks like you.
Henry honestly looks like Lucas when he was 3.
I don't know what was Lucas.
Lucas looks like tall, curly head.
No, she knows Lucas
Okay.
now, but like not at 3.
Oh.
But there's pictures of Lucas over there when he was younger, and they're very similar to what Henry looks like now.
Lucas is actually like giant. So it's like,
Yeah?
he's like
Does he play football?
He did last year. He didn't this year.
Why?
Well, he technically was not cleared yet from his broken ankle until beginning of September. So I think that was part of it, but he also just doesn't like football.
Also going to next year.
I don't know. You have to ask him, not me. All right.
He should. Yeah, he'll actually play.
Nationally shaded. I saw a lot of you that thought I was joking about the pictures. You must have a picture on there. We need to just build the habit after I told you to. And then normal CDF, lower bound really small number, upper bound 1.21, mean is 0, standard deviation is 1. You get 88.69%. Now, in your homework, the textbook is going to reference Table A. It's going to tell you use Table A to do these problems. That was back before these calculators were a thing. And at the back of your textbook is actually a Table A.
Oh, heck.
Oh, thank God for calculators.
I know, right? I had to use one of these when I went to school.
You went to
Table
school
A.
for, like, for statistics? It's crazy.
That's actually crazy that you had to go to college.
Hold up, I'm talking high school. When I took AP statistics in high school,
I know.
I had to use a
What
table.
college did you go to?
Smart city.
SOU. All right, so here's Table A. See, it says Table A. Look, it's telling you it's finding the area under the normal curve. If we went to 0.81 for the z-score, so we went to 0.8, and then the first entry would be 0.80, and then it's 0.81. Notice it's 0.7910, like the calculator gave us. And then for the one Nashley did, it was 1.21, which if we go to that entry is 0.8869, like the calculator told us. So when your textbook says use Table A, don't. Just know that it's a thing that's in there. If you take the AP exam, they do put one of these on there, but your calculator does all the work. So there's no reason to have to flip back and forth between them. But in the homework, the book will say, use Table A. All right. Now, we're going to look at the opposite. So we're going to find the proportion of observations from the standard normal distribution that are greater than negative 1.78. So this time it's greater. Last time it was less than. So I'm going to draw my curve. It's normal, mean of 0, standard deviation of 1. So we have negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So negative 1.78, that'd be closer to negative 2 than negative 1. And greater than means we're going to shade everything to the right. So we're looking for this area under the curve. Still using normal CDF. But when I put in my lower and upper bound, my lower bound is the negative 1.78 because that's the furthest left of my shading. And my upper bound has to be a really big number. So I'm going to do a positive 1, e to the 99. Mean of 0, standard deviation of 1. I'm going to cover up my picture. Sorry. So normal CDF, I have negative 1.78 for the lower, 1 e to the 99 for the upper, mean of 0, standard deviation of 1. We're going to paste that, and we get 0.9625.
Is that busy? Okay.
questions?
Kind of quiet.
I know you're all behaving for my daughter. I appreciate it.
Where's the E again? I already forgot.
I don't like
You
being
hit
with children.
second
I think
comma.
halfway
Is
right
it
there.
like-
Second.
Like, do you like swap those two in the equation, or like did you do that for a reason?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So like, there's one E.
Yeah, because before I was shading to the left, so the lower bound was really small number. Now with shading to the right, my lower bound is this number, and I have to have a really big number for the upper. You guys are gonna try that one. And if you're feeling ambitious, go ahead and try the bottom one. Not as good as Molly.
Yeah, this is fun.
Just whatever.
I do randomly, like, just kind of. Last period, she was humming just randomly, and I do that sometimes. I will fully admit to that. And sometimes I kind of just, like, dance with my arms.
I don't have to dance with nobody.
It's just going in the head.
Yeah, so
Huh?
you have the 1E99 and the negative 1.78 in the wrong spots. It should be negative 1.78 and then 1E99. Before you do all that, what do you think is sometimes? So just subtract that. That way you don't have to redo everything.
What's different about those ones? You put positive 1 and like on the upper instead of the 1, and then you put the number on the 2.
Second comma.
It's 1
Wait, what do I do?
Yeah.
Make this positive?
No. So look at your shading. The lower bound is the left side of your shading, which is that number.
Yeah, so
So put that number under lower.
it shouldn't do this. So clear this. So it should be 1.53. And then this should be
Positive 1 e into the negative.
1. Where's the E?
Second comma.
99.
Yes.
That's all I put?
Now try the bottom. Careful.
Can you just do a little
Bro,
Brooke, how'd you play yesterday?
Not awesome, but we won, so what are you gonna do?
Not much.
What?
Not much. It's an easy win. What?
We won like
Will you
3
go put it on
It was a
board?
messy win.
Thank you.
Of course. This is the first time she's asked me to do this.
Davis is gonna put the middle one on the board.
Hold on. I haven't finished this crazy thing.
Mine sits next to the room.
Tax delivery.
It's not me. I don't know why. I did it right. Did you get a picture of mom for you?
You use the minus
Do you
instead
call
of
it
the
the board?
negative.
Nobody
I told you
It's
it
my
would
time
get
to shine.
angry if you did that.
Okay, now I literally
You're
just
supposed to write it. Read what?
On her paper.
yeah, and then all the stuff.
Oh, I'm supposed to write on her paper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just write on my paper.
In what color?
Any color you want.
No.
No.
Okay, purple.
I
Okay,
thought
blue.
it was like, was like,
I found some news the wrong one.
no, dude, me too.
Not beautiful look anymore.
Like, what?
I mean, I pick on him every day to begin with. I'll pick on him to do math one day.
No.
Not just pick on him.
Why are you looking? You just say keep looking and you look at her face.
What do you do when somebody says they can't, that you can't attack? Everybody knows, like human nature.
Dude, especially when people are talking about the right, and they're like actually listening on accident. And I'll write down what they said. Something about skitties.
I remember the day when
Oh,
when you
please.
Great.
So you play basketball this year then?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah. Are you?
Do you need more paper?
Yep. Actually, I keep like, I like what
Yes.
I know, I'm feeling it.
Yes. I love that idea.
There you go, Miss Little.
Thank you, Davis.
Oh, ah!
All right,
Of course.
and then Megan's gonna come do the bottom one for us. What time are we out today? No. Good try.
We're out right now.
Oh, excuse me.
Artist says, don't.
Don't look.
Oh, don't video me.
I'm not.
This is not something.
I just read something.
They can look at this one.
Okay. Your mom. You have to tell me what about.
Don't look. What?
Are you legally allowed to give us drugs? Like
No. No, I'm not.
Die.
I'm sorry. The school can't even give
How would they know?
Neosporin.
Really?
Like if
How
a
would they
kid
know?
has a cut, they can't give them Neosporin to put on it.
How would they know? What if the student says, I've done it before, like, I'm allowed to?
No. I like my job.
No, I'm just saying, like, for like me, school.
The reason why is because let's say that I had a different generic brand of Tylenol than you've taken before, and they have
Okay, what do you
slightly
have?
one
What do you have?
different ingredient, and you have an allergic
What do you
reaction,
take?
I get fired.
What do you take?
I don't have any, honestly.
No, I'm just asking what do you take?
I don't take Tylenol or ibuprofen either.
What do you take?
I don't take them.
What do you do with your head?
Tough it out and drink some water.
What do you don't?
Sweat it
I
out.
do. I asked my son,
What do you
number
give her? What
one
do you give
rule.
her?
You can sweat out anything. Cold, flu, headache, just go sweat.
No, not a headache.
All right. No. See?
She just said
She
yes.
say no to you.
All right. 6.3% Hadley.
She gets that from you too, doesn't she?
Yeah. No, I don't lie. On this one, you're given both the lower and the upper bound. So your lower bound is negative 0.58, upper bound 1.79. You're looking at that shaded area there. There it is as a decimal and a percent. Now in the homework, you also have to work backwards. So these, you were given the z-score and you had to find the area. If I give you the area, you have to find the z-score. So we're going to flip over and look at
Wait,
the...
don't flip it.
Take a picture.
Mommy?
She just stood up for you, Ty.
I know.
7. She's only 7.
Oh, this is confusing.
I was so. Hey,
7.
Nothing
But I
wrong with
look
being
like I had it. 8.
I don't know what it's
She's-
should
I
look
mean,
like.
all my
Michael-
kids are tall for their age. So
I
let's just...
don't know what the average height of a 7-year-old is.
My youngest, he's 3.5 now. At his 2-year checkup, he was 37 inches, 35 pounds. That's the size of an average 5-year-old.
Okay, well that's a little tall.
Well, Lucas is a pretty big kid too.
He was 37 inches and 35 pounds at 2, which is the average for a 5-year-old.
3
Dude,
feet.
hold on.
And I said, those 5-year-olds are really small.
You have a 3-foot 2-year-old?
Yeah, well now he's 3, so he
I have like
comes up to like here.
That
I'm not.
Well, now he's 3.
yeah, well a 2-year-old should be like this
He-
big.
he's-
And I'm almost the size of her.
Yeah, that's,
I'm gonna be the short one in the family, Mason.
I am.
All right, working backwards. This time, you have to find the z given the area. So you're told that it's the 20th percentile. What does percentile mean?
the pit.
Say it louder. Now, if you're at the 20th percentile, Mason.
20% of people are less than you.
Yeah, so we're looking at less than. So percentile means percent less than. Now, with these, those of you that didn't like to draw pictures, you don't have to, because I'm pretty good at estimating where 20% is, but I've been teaching this for like 8 years, so I've gotten really good at figuring it out. But it's really hard to estimate. So we want to find the z-score on a normal curve so that 20% is to the left. The calculator, again, does all the work for us. It's the first few buttons we press are the same. We're going to hit second vars, but instead of normal CDF, we're going to choose inverse norm because we're doing the inverse. Newer calculators prompt you. Older calculators do not. And oh, that's right. I gave my Kenzie my older one. And Brooke, may I borrow my blue one back really quick? Because some of the newer ones even actually have an extra thing on inverse norm. They ask about the tail. So right now, we want to find the z-score for 20% less than. Inverse norm, if it does not have this tail question, only works with everything to the left, the area to the left. If you have the tail question, you can tell it where the area is. So right now, with 20th percentile, that 20%, which we have to put it as a decimal, the mean is 0, standard deviation of 1, is to the left because we're looking at less than. So we're looking at the left side. The newer calculators don't ask the left. So I have to put 0.2 in there. I get the same answer. It's when we do a question where I'm going to ask you greater than, that tail question is kind of nice. It's one less step that you guys with those calculators have to do. We're going to write down what we put in the calculator. Inverse norm. The area was 0.2 as a decimal. Mean of 0, pick it up for standard deviation of 1. And we get that from that, our z is equal to negative 0.84. 2 decimal places when the answer is a z-score. 4 decimal places when it's an area under the curve. That matches that table A that I showed you. Area's got 4 decimals, z-scores only have 2. I don't know why, it's just the way the practice of statistics has been. Now, to kind of hopefully make more sense of this, what we just did was we found, if we're looking at a normal curve, that's got a mean of 0, standard deviation of 1. Oops, that's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, 1, 2, 3. We were told the area was 20% and we needed to find the z-score. The z-score was negative 0.84, which is like here-ish. So we just found, we had the area and we found the z-score right here of negative 0.84. That's why I said you can't draw a picture, because you can't draw a picture without the answer. So on these, you don't have to draw the picture, but that's what we were finding. We had the area, we found this number right here where we stopped shading. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you.
So the part that's shaded is 20% of the graph, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. Hi, ladies. You guys are going to do the 81st percentile for me. I like how you both brought one and you both came from different directions.
What?
He is not in my class. No, it's not you. Alright, you guys should be figuring out the z-score for the 81st percentile, please. Do D. I love how you guys all send snaps. Like,
They're all of you.
Well, yeah, because you laugh and talk.
What?
because you don't think I notice you all taking pictures
Okay,
and
but you don't
sending
care.
snaps?
Davis is something mean about me.
You no. I did not.
I think they're taking pictures of me.
I
No,
think
we're not.
Ty took a picture of you for sure
No,
when
I
you were
didn't.
No, it was
dancing.
me.
Wow. I didn't.
I don't like when people watch me dance.
You're kind of dancing, like for all of them this eve.
I know.
Look. Well, just wait. Just wait.
No, you're doing this fine. Aster's gonna put the answer up there for us.
Mom, I just keep using your pens.
Yeah, but when we negative
Oh, yeah, you're right. I have been my notes.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay.
Yeah. No, thank you. Should have said that earlier.
Wait. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Astrid. Alright, so hopefully you got the Z is 0.88.
Z.
Sure. Might help you understand what you're actually finding more. Questions? Alright, so now this time 45% of the observations are greater than Z. Now, like I said, inverse norm only works with the area being shaded to the left. Now, this one, hopefully you guys can logic through this with me. Here's our normal curve, right?
Do we have to draw that?
You can just listen if you want.
Okay.
So we want 45% of the observations to be greater than our z-score. The mean in a symmetric curve is going to cut it in half. So I have 50% below the mean, 50% above. So 45%, having 45% greater than has got to be somewhere around here, right? Would you all agree with that logic? Thanks, Molly. So I'm guessing the z-score is going to be between 0 and 1. Now the problem with inverse norm is that it only works with the area being shaded to the left. So if I have 45% right here, and I put 0.45 in, it's going to give me the z-score over here where 45% is below. So I need to do some math, subtract from 100, it's really not that hard. And what I'm going to put into inverse norm is 55%. Because 100 minus 45 is 55. Unless you're one of those people that has the tail question. If you have the tail question, you can use 45 and tell it the tail's on the right because I shaded to the right. So if you don't have the tail question, you put inverse norm 0.55, 0 for the mean, 1 for the standard deviation, and we get 0.12, 0.13 when I round. If you have that tail question, I would put 0.45, and then I would tell it to put the tail on the right, and I get the 0.13, just like this one gives me. So that's why the really new calculators ask the tail question, so that it's one less step you have to think through. So we get z equals 0.13. I want you guys to try E for me, please. That's how I know what number to look for when I'm walking around. Oh, I took your calculator.
Wait, is this right?
Will you go put it on the board? Yes, Wyatt. Wyatt's gonna put it on the board for us. Yes. You got 0.13. I just rounded. $2.34. Where would she know what time we get out of here?
She's on her phone.
Maggie Mo.
I keep watching.
It's Maggie.
Bro, when are you gonna teach her that?
Thanks, Wyatt. All right, so 10% greater. So he took away 10% from 100, put 0.9 for the area, 0 for the mean, 1 for standard deviation. Hopefully you got z equals 1.28. Questions? All right. 26% of all observations are less than z. This one is like the percentile, because percentile means percent less than. It's just a different way that it can be worded. So we're going to do inverse norm. Less than tells us that we are looking at this area being to the left, so we get to use 0.26. 0 for the mean, 1 for the standard deviation. And we get negative 0.64.
Spoiled it.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to spoil it. You can do F. I won't spoil that one, Mason.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So on this one, when we shaded to the left. So you would be left for that one. Here, the 45 is greater than, so really the shading is to the right, so you would choose right. Here, less. Yeah. Here it's less than, so you would be choosing. Isn't it? If you round like 39. I know.
One of our, I pressed normal CPF and it goes way, there's a normal key.
You're not in your home screen. You have to be in the home screen.
Maggie.
Ty, will you put it on the board, please?
Yeah, it's hot.
Sign in code.
Trouble
Now
with
you're in the
issues
home
on
screen.
the
I know, right?
Was not on my phone.
Yes, we're Maggie. I'm right in front of you anyway.
She's like, but I've been getting this stuff that is. Tyler's place looked on the stuff.
As long as he didn't make you bald. I hate it when
Oh, I was
make
bald
you
and a mustache.
How would a how?
With the Snapchat filters,
Oh, I see.
I hate it when they make me bald.
Does it make you sad?
It's just,
Why?
I don't know if I've used a Snapchat filter for like years. I kind of
My
forgot. I kind
favorite
of
is the
forgot
big
that there's
teeth
like a
one.
feature.
Some of them are actually so funny.
all right. 0.65 for the area, 0 for the mean, 1 for the standard deviation. You get z equals 0.39 when you round. Questions? Good job, Molly. No? All right. So your homework. I didn't put it on here. I'm sorry. Oh no. You have 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 7.
8 problems. 8.
8. Doubled.
Oh my gosh.
Do it.
8 problems. Look how easy they
Yeah, no,
were
those
though.
were actually really easy.
They're all really easy.
Those were actually, I actually understood that.